Genesis, can I ask you a question, please? May
Sure.
I? May I? Um, t-
Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, when you shared your testimony, your poem was just so, I hope you had that written and copyright. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, it is. All
Yes.
right, I should have put on there copyright.
Yes.
um, when you shared that poem, of your experience that you went through, I know I had a dream, actually, not at this particular time, but I had a dream that, and in the dream the girl was, she was at her graduation. She was giving a graduation party and everything. And one of the people at her graduation party came and was like, she really trusted him and everything. And one was a boyfriend or what have you. And he came and tried to get her to go further than she wanted to go, right? And then she was dealing with that, and then the I think it was an uncle or something like that came and did something else to her, and she was, but he had done something earlier, and it just reminded her of that. And
Mhm.
then so she was an overachiever, and she
Ooh.
was an overachiever because she felt that she had to keep doing things to get people's love. This was in a dream. I had this dream, and I think I was supposed to do a video on it, but I didn't, because I was like, I like to be really sure, but it's coming out now. So, and she was just overachieving. They were having a graduation party for her. They were doing all this kind of stuff, but inside she was in so much pain. She was in so much pain, and it really hurt her, the fact that her boyfriend at that time wanted to take advantage of her, wanted to take things further, when she was like, no, this, my life is just starting, you know. And so I that was not part of my question, but it came up. We rolling with the spirit here. But I want to ask, what would you tell somebody who is like that, who's going through that, feeling like they have to just like, I'm not loved unless I do something, unless I achieve something, then everybody's like, yay, look at you, you did that. Other than that, I don't feel like I'm anything.
Mhm.
Is that, how can you identify with that?
Yeah, actually, that's that is so profound that you had in the dream one of the characteristics of the overachievement, because that's something that I went through. You try to, it's almost, if you watched any movie and you've seen somebody in the movie get raped or molested, it's almost as though you're trying to remain clean. So you're trying to make sure that you do everything. You don't want to say perfect, but it becomes an OCD and overachievement because you never feel good enough. But in that situation, um, just like Anne has shared, you really have to, in those situations, first of all, for me, I had to really sit and say, do I really want to be made whole? Not do I just want to forgive, not do I just want to forget, not do I just want to move on and get my life. Do I want to be made whole? Because in that wholeness, you are then allowed to, just like Ann said, sit with the truth with yourself, but also to pour everything out to the Holy Spirit, knowing that Jesus is the one who's going to, how I say, re-pour my foundation. But that foundation is going to come in identity. Because if you don't know who you are, you again allow the world and the traumatic experience that happened to you to begin to identify with you. So that would be my main, and it's so different for so many people, but that would be the main source to ask someone, are you ready to be made whole? Are you ready to allow him to take all the broken pieces? Because sometimes in people life, this happened when you were 3. I've heard of incidents 5 years old, 7 years old, and then now they're 40 and they've never said anything. So you even saying that our voice matters, you know, speaks volumes, because That's another thing. You're silenced to the point to where, oh yeah, you're out talking and communicating to everyone else in the world, but within yourself, there's a voice of a child or an individual that has been closed. And then when I say closed, I mean trapped, and you're just still screaming for help for someone to come and rescue you. And not one person, not no position, not any finances, and definitely not material things can come and pull you out. I've tried them all. They don't work. You have to surrender to Jesus. And as I told someone the other day, not just to God, because I don't know the God you're talking about, but I know the God who allowed his son to come and bear his life on the cross and not just stay there, but resurrect himself and take all that guilt, shame, sin for me and for the world, and what he's done for me. It wasn't easy because truth, as Anne said, about yourself and the things that you've been through, gone through, and did do, it hurts. It's a hurt of a gut wrenching feeling. So you really have to come to the grips of, do I want to be made whole, and be ready for the process, because it is not an overnight thing, depending on the state of where and what and when that took place in someone's life. So it is, even for me to this day, sometimes I have to grasp the thought, and especially when you still have to interact with an individual, because again, everybody's situation is different. So when you still have to face them, maybe not even daily, but if they're part of your family, you go to family gatherings, or you have family situations that come up, and everybody else, they don't know. So it is a process, and I believe it is a process to where the enemy will use it if you're not allowing yourself to sit in that truth and begin to know who God created you to be, and not just your purpose, but who he created you to be. As you stated earlier, Evelyn, about the story, the book of us, of our life written, and begin to learn that with him step by step. But it's not a quick fix. This ain't no running around the church falling out. Just somebody come and lay hands on you. I've done that too. You have to sit and be willing to say, I am ready to be made whole. And in that individual giving their whole heart, their whole self to Jesus, and allowing him to take those broken pieces and going all the way back to when you were a child, if that's when it took place or when it did take place, and allowing you to sit through that and feel that gut wrenching pain, but allowing yourself, because some days it's some for some, and I've known it's taken weeks for them to just get over that step, and then to be able to face themselves again and move forward to the next. But you can't do it alone. And then being able to be willing to speak up, and not speak up to get a pity party, not speak up to make someone else look bad, but to speak up, to begin to step up, to set yourself free. But again, only in Jesus, only in Jesus. As you said, he did everything on our chronos time, but sometimes we have to move in that kairos time. Yeah.